thanks for coming up to Northport today.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah, so Larry Hurtado is joining me today. You're the CEO of Digital Defense Incorporated, and you joined Digital Defense soon after the company was founded, I believe, in 2002.
That's correct.
So you've been there for almost 2 decades. How did you get involved in cybersecurity to begin with?
Oh, well. So I'm an engineer by education. So I went to school at University of Tennessee in Knoxville. So I have an electrical engineering degree. But I originally started out in telecom. And then my wife and I were in Hong Kong when I got this call from an individual in San Antonio, Texas. And he said, hey, Larry, given your background in engineering, I think we've got an opportunity for you in San Antonio. So my wife and I went to San Antonio, had conversations with the firm, and basically that's how it all began. So I started in 2002 with them, really heading up their engineering program.
I hear a lot of people tell me that they started in telecom when it was maybe like the 20 to 25 years ago, because cybersecurity was still somewhat of a new and burgeoning area. So what have you seen change from 2002 until today?
Well, definitely when we first started, and you have to keep in mind that we are involved in cybersecurity assessment type work. When we first started, cybersecurity assessments were almost performed sort of like audits in the financial area, the CPA audits. It's like once a year type of audits being performed. So we started out that way as well. However, we always felt like that given the dynamics of the threat landscape, that organizations would have to perform assessments more regularly. And that certainly has proven to be true. Mm-hmm. So, these days, performing assessments or scanning, pen testing, you almost have to do it on an ongoing, almost on a continuous basis in order to keep up with what's going on out there.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk a little bit about your product and the automatic kind of threat intelligence that's happening in the background all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So before we talk about that, you've been at the helm of Digital Defense. It used to be a kind of a regional niche player in the industry in San Antonio, and now it's a global company helping countries all around the world. Tell us a little bit about that growth and where you are now and heading in the future.
Oh, sure. So we cut our teeth in financial institutions. Our first client was a credit union in San Antonio, Texas, and we grew rapidly throughout the financial services area, both from the standpoint of credit unions, banks, and insurance concerns. That still represents the majority of our client base. But really, in probably 2005 timeframe, we got into general enterprise. And we did so with a managed version of one of our offerings. And that combined with the partner network that we started to build at the time has really allowed for us to expand our reach around the globe. From a platform perspective, we've also evolved from a private data center in San Antonio to leveraging Amazon. And we have our platform in AWS now, which gives us global reach. So.
Jumping off what you're saying about Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
You were telling me earlier that your platform uses the cloud to maintain elasticity and continuity,
Mm-hmm.
and then that also helps with what happens often in our industry with people kind of jumping from job to job career-wise. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Because we offer our solutions as a software as a service solution based in Amazon, you basically get a lot of continuity because the results are stored within the cloud. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a security analyst, for example, that is doing work for you, and for whatever reason that individual decides to leave, then the results of that analyst who was leveraging our platform basically remains intact. And so we get a lot of feedback from our customers how important that is from a continuity perspective, because when they bring in a new security analyst, they have access to the portal, they have access to the results, and they can continue on as though nothing ever happened. So that's a key element of basically what we've built, and we continue to get positive feedback, both from partners as well as customers.
Definitely want to talk about your partners in a minute. Tell me a little bit more about how Digital Defense is working to kind of fight the labor shortage that we have of cybersecurity workers and some of your educational initiatives to kind of create a pipeline into the industry?
We're real fortunate in San Antonio. We've got a lot of educational institutions that have basically built up their cyber programs. University of Texas at San Antonio is a well-recognized organization as it relates to information assurance, and we have very strong relationships with UTSA. We do a lot of our intern recruitment there. We have a number of paid interns on staff. I was an intern in university, so I'm a big believer in that. I always tell people, I said, if I didn't know what I wanted to do as a function of my internship, I knew what I didn't want to do.
Right.
And not knowing what you don't want to do is as important, because when you actually get to the point where you're ready to start your career, you save a lot of time if you know that. So we have a number of paid interns on staff right now, and basically they are doing work as security type interns. We actually have development interns, and we also have IT interns. So our environment is a mix of specialties, if you will, and so we have interns in each one of those key areas. We also have relationships with high schools in the area. We've adopted Southwest High School, for example, as a function of the Cyber Patriot program. The Cyber Patriot program is a program that basically is designed to get kids interested in cybersecurity type roles and jobs. And they have a competition each year, and we participate in that. We both mentor students as well as gift certain technologies, servers, workstations, whatever.
Yeah,
so
great.
it really helps build that up.
It helps the whole community.
Absolutely. And we also do things, as it results in trying to help girls get more involved in security as a function of that program as well. In fact, we've worked with the school to actually form an all-girl team. And we believe that that's important to basically help girls and women understand that they can, have a very exciting career with a great professional purpose in cybersecurity. And we see it firsthand that it's making a difference, and we're excited about that as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to hear that you're getting more young girls involved. This is a career that helps people and is a very human career. It's not just all technology. So that's great.
My parents were educators, so it's kind of in my blood.
Yes.
So yeah, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. My mom went to school with Elvis, and both
Get out
she
of
and
here.
my dad were in the educational field.
That's
so
amazing. I'm 2 degrees away from Elvis right
there
now.
you go.
So the automated threat hunting solution that you are now working with, that came about from a very, very interesting incident involving security on a national level. So tell me a little bit about how that came about and how that was evolved.
Our origins have been in vulnerability management, and as a provider of vulnerability management solutions, we have a proprietary scanner that's patented, as well as the ability to effectively manage the results from the scanner. We have another part of our technology's patented, which basically enables us to do what we call scan-to-scan host correlation. But when we were providing, as we were providing solutions to a particular organization that happened to be managing parts of critical infrastructure, specifically nuclear power plants, we were actually asked if we could create a special signature, if you will, in our scanner to look for a specific type of malware. And so on a very manual basis at the time, we basically created the signature and we swept the customer's network, and we actually found this malware. Now, we were challenged by some of the most well-known security organizations in the world, saying that there was no way that this malware existed, but in the end, it was determined that we were right. And so the reason why I bring that up is that we took that early experience that was done in a very manual way, and we created an automated solution around it. And that's what our most recent announcement has been as it relates to our platform. We've come out with a system called Frontline Active Threat Sweep, which is an automated form of threat hunting.
How much time will that save for an organization if they use it's called the ATS, the Automated threat sweep?
It's a significant amount of time, and once again, we're a big believer in defense in depth. So, we're not, there's definitely going to be a need for other solutions of a threat nature to be involved when it comes to eradicating certain forms of malware. However, with our automatic our automatic threat hunting capabilities, we are able to deploy quickly because we don't have to have the customer deploy agents. And if you have an agentless solution, you're able to basically deploy enterprise-wide very quickly. We're talking, minutes.
Wow.
And when you deploy in minutes, you can basically start that sweeping function, see where the malware is, and basically highlight to the users of the system and basically say, hey, this is where you need to focus. And if that malware has ultimately reached some form of compromised state on a particular asset, that's when you would employ other forms of technology to basically go in and do deeper levels of analysis.
So you have a really brilliant chief technology officer who's been with the company since almost day one. His name's Gordon McKay, and we've spoken with him many times here. And he is he in charge of developing these proprietary scanners?
Gordon is responsible for our integrations capability.
Gotcha.
So he's responsible for when organizations want to create higher levels of security automation, then they basically will come to Gordon's team and say, hey, I want to integrate with this platform or that platform. That's been a major initiative for us probably for the last 36 months, is to basically integrate with a variety of platform types.
And these are household names. They're in almost every company.
Exactly.
Are we allowed to say what they are?
Yeah, last year, for example, we integrated with Forescout, we integrated with McAfee. Both of those integrations have been extremely successful. We integrated with ServiceNow. Different use cases are solved through those integrations.
Sure.
We place a great deal of importance around making sure that what we integrate with has value to the end customer. And so we are sort of purpose driven when it comes to integrations, and we're excited by both of those integrations, and they've been extremely well received. Mike Cotton, who heads up our engineering function, who's also been with the company almost the same amount of time as Gordon, is the person that is responsible for Frontline, and he and his team developed the active threat sweep capability.
So this is an amazing proprietary software and product that you have all developed, and it sounds like it's getting picked up quite often. What kind of growth are we going to see in 2019 and 2020 with this product?
Let me just say this. One of the things that we've done is really focused our attention on building out our partner network. And in 2018, we saw a 200% increase in sales from our value-added reseller network, for example. That's an area where we're going to continue to invest in. And we believe that it's largely because sort of like the way in which our platforms have evolved, they're very partner-friendly, and they enable our partners to deliver value to their end customers in a very efficient manner. The hallmarks of digital defense are ease of deployment, ease of use, and accuracy. And when you have that combination, you're able to basically work with partners and help them to enjoy a very profitable deployment within their client base. And so very scalable. The fact that we moved into Amazon enables us to scale geographically very quickly and address really data residency and privacy concerns across the globe with, recent like GDPR, for example, in Europe. We're able to meet those types of compliance requirements for organizations.
Yeah, I mean, Europe and Asia both have these omnibus regulations like GDPR. California just recently came out with a Privacy Protection Act for consumers. New York is not far behind, so it's something that we really have to scale up in every company probably very, very soon. Sounds like you are all working on that.
Absolutely.
What are some of the major threats that you've seen, that you've been witnessing as you developed this product?
I think the number one concern that we have is just making sure that organizations have the capabilities that they need. We're big on helping blue teamers. The blue teamers need all the help they can get to basically fend off the attackers out there. And so what we focus in on is making sure that the blue teamers have the ability to quickly, effectively, and efficiently determine where their vulnerabilities are and help them eradicate those as fast as possible. And it's through the combination of our platform plus our technology alliance partners, the Scouts, the ServiceNows, the McAfee's, the Cisco's that we work with. That's key for us, is to be able to do.
You're working with IBM now.
IBM as well. IBM QRadar has been an integration place for some time now, and it's another key element of our security automation initiatives that we have with our partners and end customers.
So it's really great to hear that you are all taking such a human approach to this, and that you have such a longevity both in your local community, but also now the scale worldwide. Tell me a little bit about your people, who you hire, how long they stay with you, and the kind of customer support that you offer.
We have a very great retention rate within our firm. I'm a big believer in basically empowerment, making sure that the team members feel like they have great professional purpose. Obviously, just being in security gives a lot of that to the individuals on our team. But we allow for the people in our group, in our organization, to experiment with different types of initiatives that they might want to have. We have a vulnerability research team that is basically allowed to basically go through and do all forms of applied research and pure research. And we regularly come up with zero-day vulnerabilities, for example. We just recently announced one that just has gotten really significant interest from the press. We have all forms of special events. We have First Fridays, which basically the team comes together in a very social type setting and just basically enjoys each other's company. I'm not allowed to present at that meeting, by the way.
Oh,
so
okay.
It is strictly a come, have
Enjoy
some wine,
yourself.
have some beer, have some snacks.
Well,
and
if it's in Texas, shouldn't it be margaritas and tacos?
let's just say we rotate.
Okay,
So
that's
barbecue
fun.
on certain days, you name it. We switch it all the time.
Very nice. That's fun. I wanted to ask you quickly before we go what you are predicting as far as 2020 and 2019 and beyond.
Well, we're definitely staying focused in on making sure organizations have an effective way of scanning their networks. We are very much a believer in scanning technology. And with our active threat sweep, we're seeing a significant amount of interest in that offering, both from the perspective of end customers as well as our partners. We had a number of partners come to us and say, hey, all the time I have organizations come to me and they say, I think I have malware in my network. And the partner goes back and they go, where is that malware? Well, I don't really know where it is. Well, why do you think that you have malware? Well, there's something instinctually that I believe that it's out there somewhere. And so with Active Threat Sweep, as an example, our partners are able to quickly sweep the entirety of the network, figure out where that malware is, and then once again, take corrective action, whatever that corrective action needs to be.
Well, thanks so much for coming down here.
Absolutely.
It was nice to meet you.
Up here.
Up here.